Hi everyone, I have my Empties as of September 2015 here for you today. If it looks or sounds a little bit different, I am using my DSLR, the Nikon D5100, instead of a camcorder because I had a little accident and now it doesn't focus anymore. So I apologize if I go out of focus at any point. I am using manual focus because the autofocus on the lens is really noisy, so let's get to it. Revlon Colorsilk, this is a medium rich brown. This is very cheap at Walmart, it's less than $3. I like it fine. I actually ordered 3 of the medium brown, which is the color I did previously. This one's a little bit more red toned, and I prefer the little bit cooler brown just because my natural hair color is kind of a cooler brown with red, like some red in it and blonde in it. So the cooler brown just seems to work better. As it's growing out, it's not as super duper obvious, that break between the really warm brown and then that natural brown. Anyway, CeraVe Foaming Facial Cleanser. This is for normal to oily skin. I also have the moisturizing one. I don't even remember what it's called. And this one was fine. I don't recall being super wowed by it, so that's why I haven't repurchased it. I think next I'm going to try the Paula's Choice cleansers based on some recommendations here in the comments. But it is a nice cleanser. It doesn't have a scent. It just doesn't remove makeup all that well. It's okay at it, but it's not great. This Makeup Forever Step 1 Hydrating Primer sample. I also got a deluxe sample of this. It's very nice if whatever you're using on your face moisturizing wise is not really cutting it, and foundation is looking dry or it's sitting strangely. I changed my SPF so now that things are sitting a little bit better. I don't really need that primer as much, but since winter is coming soon and things are drier, I may need it sometime in the future. So I do have some left of that deluxe sample. I used up the travel size of that came in this pack of the Simple Cleansing Facial Wipes. They're okay. Wipes are just not my favorite thing to use. I use it for, like, if I'm changing my makeup in the middle of the day or something, or because of exercising, I just want to get a wipe down, clean face, that kind of thing. But I find them all to just feel a little irritating, just as I'm using them. So I don't know if I'll buy those again. The Up and Up Cotton Squares padded. It has a smooth side and a fuzzy side, and I don't like the fuzzy side even if I'm not using it, and it just seems to get in my fingers, and even if I'm doing it on my face, I really don't like it for nail polish removal. I don't love those, but I'll probably buy them again at some point. They don't have like a sharp edge or anything, which I do appreciate. Living Proof Restore Mask Treatment. This is the 3rd time I've done this video, so if I seem a little less than excited about the products. Restore Mask Treatment. And so this was part of a kit from Sephora, and I really like the smell of this, so I discovered I like the smell of Living Proof stuff, which is nice to know. It didn't feel really moisturizing in the shower, but once my hair dried, it did feel very soft, which was nice. But the price point of those is a little too high, and I just don't do my hair enough to really justify it. But if I had the chance to get another sample, I probably would. The Clinique Super City Block Broad Spectrum SPF 40. This one, makeup did not sit well on top of it for me. It kind of pilled. It had a little bit of a tint because I tried to use it on my son since I wasn't using it on my face, and it would like transfer to his clothing. It didn't like dry down really, so I just didn't really like it, so I'm just getting rid of what I have left. Paula's Choice Resist Ultralight Super Antioxidant Concentrate Serum. This one I have repurchased, and what I like to use it with is mixing in the Resist Moisture Renewal Oil Booster. So I did finish this as well around the same time. And so this together gives me that like serum plus moisturizer step, which is nice. It's kind of a 2 for 1. So I have the full size of that oil booster and the serum, and that's what I'm using right now at night. Clean and Clear Oil Absorbing Sheets. I prefer this format to like the paper blotting sheets. I feel like they can grab a lot of oil. My T-zone used to be extremely oily, so I could use just one sheet as opposed to two of the paper ones. Depending on what is a better price, I get either the Clean and Clear or the Up and Up brand from Target. They are exactly the same as far as I can tell. And but Clean and Clear does have coupons, which end up making it a really good deal if you're buying the blotting sheets. So definitely recommend that. The Jack Black lip balm, this came in that same set as the Living Proof mask. This has SPF 25 and it is the Shea Butter and Vitamin E variety, so it's not scented per se. It has a teeny tiny bit of a like sweet scent, maybe sweet taste to it, but not much. I do appreciate the SPF in it, so I like that if we're going for a walk or something, I can put on a thick layer of that, and I do have that in full size of that same like scent. It isn't super great for my issues where my lips are constantly flaking, but it does, I do like that it has more of a matte finish compared to the lanolin, so if I put a matte lipstick over it, it's not going to make that matte lipstick super shiny. It might have a little bit more of a sheen, but it's not really shiny like lanolin causes things to do. Lip Fusion XL. I originally bought these, I got two of them I believe, when they were exiting Sephora, which was a long time ago, because of Jalapeno 2007, Heidi, as well as Lisa D1. They both really like this. And it's so funny because Heidi just started making videos again, and she had an Empties with two of these in there, so that really cracked me up because I just finished that one. I was just using it overnight. It was okay. I would not buy it again. It was too expensive. I find that something like this, or you know, Aquaphor or whatever, if I slather on a good layer, it does the same thing for me overnight, just keeping some amount of moisture on my face, lanolin, whatever. A few more things that I am throwing away. The Maybelline Master Drama Pencil in Midnight Master. This one made my eyes water if it ever got on my waterline, and I didn't love it for top lash line, and if I wore it anywhere like in the waterline or near the waterline and it got onto my waterline, how many times can I say waterline? It would migrate down into the like corners of my eyes, and then so I would just have like some stuff right there. Not a good look. Something else I'm tossing, this one kind of broke. It's the Maybelline Define-A-Brow. So the little twist up part of this thing came off, and so I had to like use my teeth and kind of turn it, which was not so classy. And also the issue was that ultimately made me stop using it is that it must have gotten dried out or something, because it was crumbling essentially when I was using it, so I'd get these little chunky crumbles in my eyebrows. Too much of a hassle. This color wasn't great for me. I would say it's a little bit too warm. I remember liking it more the last time I got it, but that was quite a long time ago. Let's see, last thing I think I'm throwing away is this LORAC Wet Dry Powder in WD1. This I believe has been discontinued. So I did like this and I used most of it, but it got down to that point where it was just like kind of a crust had formed over it, and it was not, I just couldn't pick up powder very well anymore, and since it's quite old I figured let's just toss it. I have four mascaras here. A little tiny sample of the MAC False Lashes. I think I got this in either a MAC, like MACcosmetics.com order, or a Macy's order. I'm not really sure. This has like a traditional bristle brush, and they're pretty close together, and it's more of a dry formula, and so I found I could get really kind of wispy lashes, and I could let that coat dry, go back and put a second coat. It didn't get really clumpy, yet it wasn't wet like a lot of kind of separating mascaras are, so it was nice. If I had the chance to get another sample, I probably would. I did like that. It also removed really easily at night, didn't kind of smear, it just washed off cleanly. similar to one of my favorites, the CoverGirl Clump Crusher, and this one was in brown. I appreciate that this wand has, it's one of the plasticky wands, but I don't have issues where I like poke myself in the waterline with it, which is something that for whatever reason a lot of those plasticky wands I do, and that's really obnoxious. I like the formula fine. I have a harder time getting a lot of volume, but if I use the right part of the wand it works okay, and it's just really easy. If I'm not looking for a bunch of like really thick volume, that's the one I go to. If I'm looking for a lot of volume, another like good standby is this CoverGirl Professional Super Thick Lash. This is something that I came across because of Kristen Game, and she says, I haven't used Tarte's light camera lashes enough to say that it's the same, but she says it's the same or very similar. And it's a traditional bristle brush, but it also has a little bit more of a wet formula. It doesn't wipe off as much with the stopper, and but it doesn't get super goopy like some mascaras like that. The Jordana Best Lash Extreme is really similar to that, except the stopper is just too wide, and the brush just gets so overloaded with product. As you use it, it just becomes kind of a pain. But that does let me do a lot of volume without it getting chunky and like at the tips easily, so I have repurchased that. I have, I think, 2 tubes. There's often really good CoverGirl coupons. So, and that's like around $5 or so at Target. One that I wouldn't repurchase is the Full Lash Bloom from CoverGirl. This is one that I did tend to poke my waterline with. I really didn't like it at first, but then kind of as I used it, I liked it a little better, but it still had that pokey problem, so I would rather use the CoverGirl Lash Blast or something like the Super Thick Lash, something besides that. 3 more things. Oh, now that I've done this video so many times, I'm like doing it in no time flat. The Too Faced Shadow Insurance, this came with a palette probably at some point, and this is kind of my second favorite primer, I would say, right now. What I'm liking the best is what I'm using currently, which is the LORAC Behind the Scenes Eye Primer. This one can be a little bit dry. That LORAC one feels a little bit more moisturizing. I don't have super oily lids, but they're enough that like most eyeshadow formulas will crease after about 5 or 6 hours if I don't use a primer. And both that Too Faced and the LORAC will keep things from fading as long as it's not a really lousy eyeshadow formula, and they will also prevent creasing until the end of the day. Could be 10-12 hours. This was a teeny tiny baby sample of the Mary Kay eyeliner in dark brown. I got this at a Mary Kay party, which was me kind of supporting a friend who was supporting a friend that was selling Mary Kay, and I won it. Tiny sample. The eyeliner was a lot nicer than I was expecting. I don't think it's waterproof, but it did stay on my lash line really nicely. Didn't stay in the waterline or anything like that. I mean, nothing does for me. But, okay, the battery died mid-sentence there. So, I don't know what I was saying, but basically I was happy to finish that sample. It was nice. It was a nice color. I did enjoy it. So if you're looking to buy some Mary Kay stuff, you know, sure, I would recommend it. Their price point, as I recall, is it Mary Kay's a little more expensive and Avon is really cheap? That must be it. Last thing, of course it cut off like right before the last item. My sample of NARS Sheer Glow in Siberia. I did purchase the full size of this, but also finished the sample, so I figured I'd show it there. And that's, for the most part, what I've been wearing before I got these 2 new samples from Sephora. The things that I had tried out were the Makeup Forever Ultra HD and Y205, which I have a demo and review of if you are curious. And what I have on my face today is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra in 90 Avoir Ivory N. It seems to be a new shade. I believe it says new on the little display, and that's what made me swatch it. It is a matte finish, but I feel like it's more semi-matte because I do have a pretty dewy base of the Paula's Choice Resist SPF 25, the Daily Cellular Defense Moisturizer, but still, usually matte stuff just does not look good on my face, and this does well on my drier areas, so that's interesting. Since I'm talking about what's on my face, might as well talk about it. On my lips, I have the e.l.f. matte lip color in Tea Rose. On my eyes is an NYC palette. On my eyes, I have this NYC Individual Eyes in Central Park. It says it's for green eyes. I have one eye that's like half green, so that counts, right? I also have the Jordana Fabuliner Brown liquid liner a little bit at my lash line. I am wearing the Josie Marin Argan Black Oil Mascara from that Lash Dash set from Sephora. On my cheeks, I have an e.l.f. discontinued, really light pink-ish blush. Anything else notable? I mean, not like that's really that notable. And under eye concealer is the CoverGirl Plus LED Depuffer in Fair, which I am getting so close to finishing. I think that's just about everything. I set with my NARS light reflecting setting powder pressed in translucent crystal. So I think that's everything on my face. Those are all my empties as of now. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. Again, I apologize if I went out of focus. I really tried not to move around, but I'm sitting on a stool, so I don't have a back. So I have a tendency to kind of like sway back and forth. And I did have to get up, etc. So yeah, fingers crossed that this version is going to happen. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. Also, if you have any recommendations on a DSLR that does video really well with a silent autofocus, I think there's some sort of Canon that seems to be the business now for that kind of thing. That doesn't cost $1,500. I would appreciate it. Any thoughts on the camera thing? I don't know if any of you actually do video type stuff, and it would be nice to have something that does pictures and video because 2 for 1. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching and getting through this, and I'll see you soon.